gonna cast some more Dual Domination. I've been waiting for quarterfinals to kick off for some time. Obviously, pretty tricky to coordinate four players to find the right time to play the game. So, totally understand that these games would take a long time to organize. But I was getting a little bit antsy. I was like, I want to cast some Dual Domination, and the bracket that I was casting, the group stage I was casting, was bracket 4 actually, and those players are still scheduling their matches, and I think they're going to play next week. But I'm sitting here thinking, but I want to cast a game already, so I'm going to go up a bracket and cast the quarterfinals of bracket 3. So I haven't covered either of these teams. Bracket 4, I was kind of saying it's a ELO average of 900. Was kind of where I was seeing the averages lie. Looks like the averages here in bracket 3 look to be 1100, 1200. So this is my skill bracket. This is where I belong. So it'll be good to see how players at my level kind of navigate these maps and such. But yeah, it's also best of 5. So group stage was best of 3. Not best of, yeah, no, it was best of 3. It was best of 3. Here we've got the best of 5. So whoever wins 3 maps wins. We've got Pacific Islands as our neutral map. Ian's Revenge has chosen Jungle Rumble and Copenhagen, so some of the more closed maps. I'm looking forward to Jungle Rumble because I've never seen or played that map yet, so that should be interesting. And then for start the game already, more open maps. Arabia Morass, so we might see a contrasting style. And having the water map as the neutral map is actually quite interesting as well. So pretty varied map pool, and you know, a lot to fit on the screen here for the draft. So I've got them a little bit bunched up here. But Ian's Revenge have Armenians, which can only be played on Pacific Islands, in my opinion. Very good water civ would be the obvious choice for me there. Maybe Japanese on Copenhagen with the hybrid start. And then we've got the Berbers, the Malians, Ethiopians. They'll do fine on those more open maps. But for start the game already, we have Turks. Turks are always good on closed maps, so we'll see them there. Malay, potentially also on a closed map. They can really boom behind the walls. Huns, definitely on the open maps. Trying to figure out where they might do the water civs. And we might see Byzantines or Sicilians on Pacific Islands. Both have good water tech trees. Maybe Byzantines would be even better. And Vietnamese are also good closed map civilizations. So could see them on either one of those closed map options. You know I love an icon, so I love to do an icon for each team. For Ian's Revenge, I was like, who's the most famous Ian I know? And it's I forget his last name. It's eluding me. Ian McKellen, who plays I was about to say Dumbledore, but no, he plays Gandalf. So I got him looking very spiteful there as Ian's Revenge. And then just the idea of a medieval peasant at the computer screen waiting for the game to start. Was some motivation there to start the game already. So yeah, there we go. There's our little starting screen in the draft. Now I have a good 2.5 hours until midnight. I'm going to try and blitz through these games. Obviously, I'm not going to fast forward anything, but we're going to have a pretty rapid pace here and get through these games, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So buckle in and let's go. Over to live scene. Get this game, and actually I've got to change the settings as well. For casting, Neopal is start the game already. And who are we playing? Ian's Revenge. And it is best of 5. All right, there we go. There we go. Let's check our sound. And that is looking all good. And we are not starting for some reason. So bear with me. All right, here we go. We have Ian's Revenge on the Armenians. It's Pacific Islands. Really good Pacific Islands. Civ, their galley line fires a additional projectile on the galleys. Very good bonus for Pacific Islands. And we have Byzantines on start the game already. And actually, look, we've already got the transport ship for Ian's Revenge over here. But yeah, playing as the Byzantines, obviously really good fire ships. So maybe contrast in ship type builds. We might see lots of fire ships for the Byzantines, lots of galleys for the Armenians. In the long run, I think the Armenians are better on water. And it'll be really interesting to see how they go. But Pacific Islands, of course, you've got these 2 islands in the middle, which you'll have to migrate across to. You only have 3,000 gold on your home island, about 1,400 on stone. The trees are kind of annoying. There's no really big tree line to work with. Usually you end up building a lot of farms on the home island and then going over here for these bigger tree lines, more gold, bit of hunt, some berries from time to time. And yeah, what can kind of happen is either the teams migrate to the same islands or they migrate to different islands. It can play out quite differently. But yeah, I'm really looking for Pacific Islands is one of my favorite maps. But I think the dual domination element provides a little bit more interest because Pacific Islands is all about managing your actions, right? You've got to manage your home islands, you've got to be transporting people over to other islands and back again. You've got to control navy, you might be controlling land military, you're controlling a lot of different things. And having 2 players on the same team, one potentially managing home economy, the other one exploring or managing one of these islands. You know, it's kind of an interesting way to do it. So I'm looking forward to this. We've got a dock coming up for Ian's Revenge. We already have a dock here for start the game already. And loving the dock position right next to a fish. I hate it when you produce a dock. Say you produce the dock here and you have to transport all the way over to that fish. Really annoying. Really, really annoying. So I love the dock position. Start the game already kind of ahead with the fishing ships. so that's an advantage. But one thing I haven't mentioned is the benefit of the mule cart, a mobile lumber cart, if you will. And they can move around these tree lines. So instead of producing a million different lumber camps all over these tiny tree lines, you can just move this cart from here to here, to here, to here. You're going to save a lot of wood. So another bonus for this map, certainly. But we're actually already over to this other island, which is really interesting. I would say this is quite early, as the scout's trying to be a little bit annoying here. No movement here from start the game already, but I would find that to be pretty typical. You don't, I reckon you want to get over there as soon as feudal kind of hits, is kind of my impression of it. Especially if you want to build barracks and such, and get a foothold on these islands before other people do. But you've also got to build your ships, your galleys, your fire galleys, as soon as you reach feudal. But I think we might be trying to go to the same island. No, we're going to go to a different island. So Blue definitely knew Armenians were there and decided to not go for the same island. We'll go for the different. That's an interesting choice. Because I think Armenians in the long run are the better civ. They're the better late game civ. Their galleys are going to be absolutely crazy. Decides to build a mill and then was like, actually we don't have enough wood. We need to produce more wood. So how about we produce a lumber camp instead? Fair enough. Fair enough. But the fact, this what always astounds me is that, the lumber camps are really good for wood, but it's also so good for hunt. They don't even have to build a mill, which is kind of crazy. It's got so much utility. And as you can see, this mule cart's kind of moved over already to this other tree line. Got another one on gold. But yeah, all looking pretty normal right now. We've gone for the double dock here on start the game already. Both players only going for 3 fishing ships, so it's not a huge amount. And 5 galleys for Byzantine. Predictably, we're going galleys on Ian's Revenge, and I gotta say that I think the galley play is the better play, because you've got 2 people who can micro those galleys and kind of pull these 5 galleys, pull them around the map. You've got a lot of space to work with. Yep, you can just micro these away and hit, if done well, that is. The galley player should be able to hold the 5 ships off. Gonna go into galleys as well, so I think that's wise to go for both. But both players going for double dot, which I think is a prerequisite for this map. You've got to go double at least, and fletching is coming in for Ian's Revenge. That obviously affects the damage galleys can do. And just interesting to see what they end up doing on these islands as well. Still just collecting resources, really. Galleys coming in along with the fire ships. So they're just going to have a little tango here in the middle. But you can see they're going to whittle down these fire ships bit by bit from distance. Fletching gives you an extra range as well, I think, so that is notable. And the Byzantines don't have fletching yet to compete with this. I think Ian's Revenge is looking for the fishing ships. Isn't going to find them. Might find this transport ship though, which would be a good pick-off. It is noticed. The galley's been quite fast. Might snipe this. They do. That's actually pretty big. Galleys are separated, which isn't ideal, but I think it was worth it. Might leave these galleys to go and find the fishing ships though. And Ian's Revenge is looking really strong right now. These two are going to come over here while the main group is distracted. It's 4 ships on 1. And these fishing ships are going to go down pretty quick. New transport ship was created. That's time and resources wasted. And economy on the home island looking pretty strong. Well, much stronger for Ian's Revenge, really. So I'm really loving their position in this game. And the splitting up of the ships hasn't seemed to hurt them at all. Gonna have to micro away from those fire galleys though. But look, they just go down. And this might be another dead transport ship. There's 2 dead transport ships. And just luring this boat mass away for these 3 galleys. While more favourable trades are happening on this other side. I think there's a domination. If I'm being honest, it's Ian's Revenge is going up to Castle Age now as well. Hi, Bundesliga. Nice to see you, nice to see you. I believe you are one of the players playing this game. Please let me know which team you're on. But Ian's Revenge taking a pretty commanding lead in this game so far, as start the game already hasn't gone up to castle yet, has just clicked up actually. And it's been all water. I don't think land has really played any factor so far other than the collecting of additional resources. And Armenian galleys are just oppressive, you know, they're just so strong, especially when they've got fletching. You know, 1 upgrade over the Byzantines here. That's 11 galleys to 4. So, if I was start the game already, I'd be transferring over to land and trying to win that outright. You will have to try and come back onto water, of course. But that might not happen for a while. Unless you can like pop out with a good demo and clean up a few of these galleys and turn the tide, perhaps. Would be my only thing. Oh, you're microing the fire ships on start the game already. That's hard. That's tough when you're, you know, fire ships are a little bit slower, you've got less range, the Armenians have fletching. That's a hard task. But ooh, okay, I'm liking this. Town Centre has just gone down for Ian's Revenge. He decided to go for the TC on the same island as start the game rather than go from the island that he was first on. And that's an interesting decision because Castle has been dropped. They wasn't paying attention to how many people were on stone, and that might be a wasted TC. They're going to have to come back over to the other island. So really good job to take Ian's Revenge off their island. So really liking that. That was a really good play. And then a TC after that. Loving that. But Ian's Revenge, of course, will still have another island to work with. And that's a castle that is, you know, in the middle of the island. You know, I love a channel castle, especially at this part of the game. It becomes less useful when cannon galleons are on the field. But it does secure a really good objective. So 2 town centres on this island. These galleys are gonna... I think they were were they looking for this? I'm not sure, but they nearly get it. You know, and I will say, Byzantines do have to get back on water at some point. They nearly have enough stone for another castle. And if they put that on a shoreline and produce some docks under it, then they might be able to get back on water. But it's going to be hard to get on water again with this amount of galleys on the floor. But I like this. 2 TCs on the home island. We need to start booming. Play for the long game. But yeah, again, I think Armenians are so good in the late game with their galleys. I just don't see a chance for them to lose water unless it's a throw of some sort. Or they let the Byzantines get back on the water. You know, and yes, you have to produce a castle on the shoreline, but maybe not in a visible spot. I'm sure that town centre probably saw it. It would have to be maybe, you know, not ideal to be on the back. You're just going to put it a little further back. It fulfills the objectives still, but not as good. And these galleys can actually still reach, but they can't reach just around the back, so it is just okay. Should mention though, the Armenians are up to Imperial in 3 minutes. And once they get those they got the drones. So they don't have cannon galleons, but they're basically cannon galleons, right? And the range on these galleys is, yeah, it's gonna be surrounding the island or patrolling the island. There's no way we're gonna let the docks be produced back here. It's gonna have to be here in the long run. Ballistics coming through now as well for Ian's Revenge. We're thinking relics. You know, relics are always nice to have, especially if the game goes late, if the game kind of stalls out with both players on different islands, having the gold from relics is going to be real handy. Ballistics are obviously super useful on galleys. This is just so annoying. It's going to be tickling these villagers bit by bit. Going to produce the outposts, more docks. And I think once this Imperial Age hits, I think start the game might start to panic just a little bit. Because here come the drones. Drones have already started to be built. Cannon, these castles are going to be the first targets. And I think, yeah, there was a bit of market action to get up to Imperial, knowing that the opposition is already in here. This is an ambitious castle, but it seems to have paid off. It's going to be needed because this castle's going to go down. I don't even know if I would repair this. If one of the drone goes down, unfortunately. But this is just, I always call this, it's like a resource thing. You're just going to be pouring more and more and more resources into this. And not necessarily find the payoff. Going into melee armor, so we're thinking infantry. I don't know. What kind of infantry are we thinking? Are we thinking... Can't be halberdier, it has to be champion, but why would you be going champion? I'm not sure, but getting away with producing some of these docks. Haven't even got the war galley upgrade yet, so getting that. Careening as well. We have seemed to have made it to Imperial relatively unscathed, so maybe having this castle just hold out for a little bit longer is, you know, stopped the progression down here, has allowed the dock to be produced. They are getting back onto water. We do get cannon galleons. Well, everybody gets cannon galleons, but not. Oh, Byzantines also get the drone. Okay. Very interesting. We're going into fast fire ship. And here we go. So the galleys go down pretty quick, but if you bunch up like that, the Dromans are going to have a field day. But they are left exposed. Dry dock coming in. So this is pretty impressive. Coming back on water. And the Armenian player has allowed this to happen. It's a little bit unfortunate for them because they've controlled the game so well up until this point. I actually give them a chance now. Economy back home is fine. That's still annoying AF to have galleys on the shoreline. Town centre might go down pretty quick. Yep. I was just thinking that I might be thinking about getting into demo ships. Heavy demo ship coming out that does not bode well for the Byzantine player. We've got about 30 villages, about a third of Ian's Revenge's economy just being idle right now. As all the wood on the home island is completely exhausted. And this castle's going to go back up. They're going to rebuild the old castle. And here come those demo ships. And there's 3 Dromans gone from that demo ship. What a hit. What a hit. Even going guilds. So I've seen guilds being produced a little bit on this tournament setting. And it's not a bad option for Pacific Islands, because, again, if we stall out island versus island, guilds might be the difference. Trebuchets could be an option to take out some of these docks. I would consider it. Eco kills for the Revenge is quite high, and I think it's only because of these, 23 villager kills on these galleys. However, the Revenge is losing it on this front here, and this third of the economy is still not working. That is a lot of idle time to have those villagers just sitting there, not doing anything. Demo ships are available. Dromans have come around the back for this castle, and we're on this shoreline, so yeah, a lot of dead ships from these demo ships. I would think about Krebs for this down here. And really, start the game already hasn't responded to this, and castle is down. Even went to the tower on the shore. That's an accidental transport ship, I believe. But Dromans are going to be chased off. Heavy demo ships have done the work to prevent any more. Oh wow. Hold on. Guys, hold on. I did not see a castle being built on this side of the river, so they obviously hopped across, but it does look like it's in range of 2 castles and now 2 trebs, so that's not going to work out well. And once these trebs come over and destroy these docks, I don't know what options are going to be available for start the game. It does manage to take out a castle, so that is definitely a positive. The composite bowman, quite a low attack speed unit, or attack damage unit. So I can't imagine they're particularly good against trebs, and gotta go down to Dromans. This is still occurring, and look at the range on these things. It's crazy. And now we've got Dromans back onto this castle here, and that's going to go down. So I did think for a brief moment that start the game already was going to come back, but I think the game has shifted back towards Ian's Revenge. They still have a lot of villages idle though. And that's really showing up in res collected. They're quite behind on res collected actually. I think that is partially due to the idle eco. They've had their break, they've had their siesta. Now it's time to get back to play. That castle is going to go down. I don't see how else they can hold this position. And the ship production up until this point has been okay, but it is lagging now. for sure. And I would love to see these Trebs come over and take out some of these dots. Germans just need to keep hitting this as much as possible. Get a few more demo ships out here, I reckon. Or just micro take this out. You know, Germans could be involved here. They're not that bad against ships. They provide a bit of range. But the fire ships are, you know, when you don't micro your galleys, this can happen. The Germans miss. So we're going to need to see more demos, I think. But I think that could have been managed just a little bit better. It is taking all these ships away, which is something, and now Germans are back for the Byzantines. Composite bowman versus... I'll be a little bit scared if I was the composite bowman, yeah. That's what I was thinking, turn around and fire on these bowmen, because if you land a hit, it's gonna be devastating, I would say. There's the demo ships. This is a risky game. This is a very risky game. You've got the tools on water to deal with this. Oh, they're ready to be taken out. Bit of damage on there. And yeah, we just need to produce demo ships at this point. Imagine hitting this little cluster. You take up 5 ships at once, basically. Greek fire has come out as well. So, if I'm being honest, I can't quite remember what Greek fire does. It obviously makes the fire ships more powerful. I think it makes them, you know, fire the fire quicker. Does that make sense? Lure these back. You've got the ships here. You just need to lure them back to the demo. And kaboom. But no, it's just going to micro it. Fair enough. But yeah, this castle has been repaired by 1 villager. But we have 6 Romans for the Byzantines right now. And that's going to be tough. Going to see some real damage from those Romans. And this stubborn castle is just not going to go away. You know, from time to time you see a home island raid. I don't know what happened to the town centre, if I'm being honest. They cannot be ranged. Did I miss something? Did I miss something else? Was there a landing of some sort? After this we're going to rewind, because I'm not quite sure how that has occurred. But something took out that town centre. And wow, look at this. This was great predictability from Byzantines. Knowing that demo ships were going to come in, they've transitioned to galleys, so good power of prediction there. And now they outnumber the galley numbers for Ian's revenge. So this is really close. Here we go. We've got another castle going up. This game's been swings and roundabouts, I can tell you, because now I believe if this goes up, which looks like it's not going to actually. I thought for a second he was going to get away with that. And that's a lot of dead villagers. This needs to be supported somehow. You know, Dromans would be a good support there. They could probably range that. But still pushing them back over here. We've got the Dromans and support to take up the docks. So this is fantastic. Really good stuff here from start the game already in. I think one villager survived out of that group, and it's gonna be a solo villager castle. So we've got a castle over here, 75%. About 10 villagers died from that. One survivor. Can she get redemption? It's gonna be. I'm gonna say it's gonna be close, only because there's a lack of attention to this going on. If these composite bowmen just come around here, they could snipe it, run away. It's at 43%. All the docks at the back here are completely gone. One left actually. Okay, here we go. We've got villagers coming over for wood. Decide against it. I think he's figured out what's going on. Just has to kill one villager and it's gone. So we've got a castle here at 75%, castle here at 60%. That's a lot of wasted stone. So I was saying that the Byzantine player was pulling away, but that's a lot to give up. And this is a galley war for the ages, and Ian's Revenge have the better galleys. So here come the fire ships. That's going to make a big difference. They were winning this fight, but the fire galleys might flip this. You know, that's where you take your hands off the keyboard and say, whatever works, works. Let's see. Hope for the best, cross your fingers. We are closer to the production buildings of start the game already, so that is going to work in their favour. Here come more fire ships, so that's tough. The economy is in complete shambles to the side of the Ian's Revenge. Ships around the back for the Byzantines. This is a huge naval fight. All the boats involved. They've fundamentally won that fight, the Byzantines, and that's due to the fire ships. Ian's Revenge probably should have microed out of that battle a little bit sooner once they saw that number of fire ships. And again, we're seeing a swing back to the Byzantines. So this is tough. And again, I haven't been particularly impressed with the economy management. We have very risky transport mission around the side, around the edges of this naval battle. All those boats are now gone. They've escaped the harbour. And here they come. There is a tower here that they've got to get past as well, remember. It would be a shame if this ship crashes and burns, but we're looking at an economy of 32. And here's a composite bowman. This must have been what happened the last time, which I had missed. But this could be a lot of dead villagers. However, Ian's Revenge, their villager count has absolutely plummeted to 36 villagers. That's because we've got boats around here, and I think I see why their villager count has plummeted, because that's like a a mass graveyard, say. Even this is not going to have too much of an impact on the Byzantine player. Ports down the sides, or harbors down the side, what do they call them? Docks down the side are being destroyed. So they've been completely taken off water. Start the game already, have won this game. I thought they'd lost at multiple points. And we've got hussars back here as well, and again, it's going to be another mass grave. And with hussars on your home island, and the economy looking pretty sparse, armor coming in, there's no way Ian's Revenge can win this. Home island dead. This is annoying for sure, but I mean, what? You can't do anything against that. I mean, this army's stuck here, basically. Dare I say, would they have been useful on the home island? But I understand the need to take a bit of a risk. But we're going to fight on as Ian's Revenge. No, we're not. Just as I say that, we won't. So, start the game already. Dare I say, have a little bit of a comeback. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Really good start to the set. Really enjoyed that. But really interesting. I love Pacific Islands. I think it produced a really interesting game. That was really back and forth. And good kind of naval battle. You know, the Byzantine players going, you know, using the whole, using a bit of mind games also. Going into fires and then into galleys to defeat the demo ships. I thought that was really smart. So, well, very well played. I don't think actions per minute actually matter because there's 2 players. But we can see the economy actually, the entire game was better for the Byzantine players, and we saw a lot of idle time for Ian's Revenge, which I think caught up with them. But yes, no spoilers alert, so I'm going to go quickly back to the starting screen as we set up the next game. And like I said at the start, I've got about until midnight to do these bits, so it's a best of 5. Let's do this. I've got this as marked as game 2. Don't worry, I will change the screen over. There we are. All right. Let's go. We have start the game already on the Vietnamese. I won the last game. And we have... That's going to annoy me. Hold on. I've got to change that very quickly before we start. I don't know why sometimes it changes. But this is... Alright, let's start that again. We have start the game on Vietnamese. Really good civ on closed maps. We have Ian's Revenge on the Japanese, really good hybrid map civ. So this will be interesting because to start the game have chosen a civ that will be good on closed maps. Ian's Revenge has picked a civ that are really good on hybrid maps. This is Copenhagen. And there's both. There's both a closed map and a hybrid map. So it's a really interesting map, and a map that I haven't really seen any other real comparisons to, if I'm being honest. So I really like it as a map. We have kings walking around exploring. Pro level strat, obviously if you lose your king, if your king dies, you're dead. So, you know, a bit of a risky strat, but there are no, well, there are scouts involved actually, but kings, I believe, walk quicker than scouts. They've got a 1.32 movement speed. Scouts have a 1.2. So kings can outrun scouts. You're really at no particular danger with your king if you're walking around at this point. You don't want to run into castle fire, of course. But interesting enough, Copenhagen you start with a barracks and a castle. So it does allow you to rush military jet a little bit easier as well. So again, love this map. Love the little details of this map. We're luring in a boar here with a scout, another pro level strat, and a strat that you can probably only do on Dual Domination at the skill level, I guess. Although I'm sure people do it on the ranked ladder too, but it's a little more viable when you've got two players microing around. But we're going up to feudal age fairly similar time. Ian's Revenge going up a little bit quicker. But the fish, got 3 fish for the Japanese player. You know, their wood camps and such are cheaper. So they're able to have a little bit of wood savings in the early game, which translates to more fishing ships typically. However, Vietnamese, also very good to get on water because their upgrades, the eco upgrades cost less wood, I'm going to say, or they cost less resources, so you can divest those resources into fishing ships as well. So maybe not in the very early Dark Age game, but you can utilize that for fishing ships in the mid game. King going back home safety. Interesting, I like to see who gets the new castles, who doesn't. The Japanese are stuck with the old castle model. I think that's probably appropriate though, based on the style of the castle. And the Vietnamese getting the new castle, which looks very nice. Standard blacksmith market play for both players, so we're both thinking fast castles. Neither player thinking of attacking the other's fish, so no feudal fish contest. They're quite happy to just take this into the late game, or you know, the Castle Age and Imperial Age. But Ian's Revenge is going to see the fish there, so he might think about it now. Putting up the fire galley, I think it's a pretty safe assumption to think your opponent is on fish. And start the game might see that scouting fish ship and build something a little defensively. Scouts moving a bit back and forth. There is a flare down here for blue, so they might think of coming down here for a dock. You know, you got 3 routes down here, so it is worth it. And I think that's a bit of an underrated element of this map. Hello, Thieves Workshop. Anyone? And Samurai. Okay. So I was thinking, you don't usually see Thieves Workshop being your first military building after barracks. Samurai is the supporting unit for the siege. So I think we might be thinking rams. Yes. You're going to put the Samurai in the ram and bust through the wall, maybe take out town centers. It could be quick, it could be successful. We'll see. Start the game already is only thinking of booming at this point. We're thinking of a 1 TC Castle Age for Ian's Revenge. I love that. I absolutely love players who buck the trend of booming. And we've got Rattan Archer. I think that's a decent shout, if I'm being honest, because I think Japanese usually go into archers. They've got all the techs. So I think it's a fair assumption to go into Rattan Archer. Rattan Archer's been very good against standard archers because of their high pierce armor. So I think that's a reasonable assumption, but they weren't thinking about this. I mean, it's quite a small army, if I'm being honest. You'll be able to get onto wood lines and such. So that is something. But will there be like villager follow-up, you know? Like you get in and then you make a castle inside the enemy's base. And they're going to be through this wall quick. There's no attempt to block this off either. They're through. Rams are through, they can't prevent this any longer. I don't know about this actually. Samurais pop out, but Rattan Archer is here. They're going to deal with TC fighters. Not enough. The micro in and out of these ramps is going to have to be pretty superb. TC's going down really quick. I mean, am I missing something here about Samurai? I'm not sure that I am. That TC's going to go down. So mission accomplished. I thought that was far too few units to actually achieve that. So, loving the walling up behind to stop this from happening again, but the damage is already done. And these Rattan Archers, too late. I'm surprised that actually worked. That was crazy. 2 rams, and what was it? Probably like 9 samurai, I'm gonna guess. And they're still walking around. We got 10 attack and 3 armor. They had chainmail armor. That's probably what did it. Hard to kill. But we're rebuilding. We're rebuilding the town center. But we're way behind now. 24 villages to 41. Goodness. Hey, Greg, yeah, I saw you lurking. But enjoy Lemon Toaster. Good to see you. Oh yeah, no, come back and watch the VOD if you're keen. But yeah, this has turned out to be a really interesting set so far. Bracket 3 of Dual Domination. And yeah, look at the economy of Ian's Revenge behind us. He's got 2 TCs safely in the walls. He's got the fishing ships. Everything is just broken right for him. And wow, we've got more rams. I wasn't paying attention to the follow-up here. But, you know, if these samurai are even able to get close to rattan archers, they do have the bonus against unique units, so in theory they should never allow the samurai to get close to them, but that is in theory. I have seen it happen from time to time. 1 relic to start the game already, that's something. Regarding the relics, so we are thinking of focusing on relics. Here comes another monk. And these rams are going to try for this TC. You know, it was an interesting strat. I don't know if it's going to work yet. Well, it is going to work because he's going to have to focus on this mangonel. He's going to be back too late to save that TC. Thinking about building walls to prevent mobility, but I'm thinking you might need to, as a Vietnamese player, you might need to go elephants or something like that to contest the melee play. That's what I would be thinking, because rattan archers are not going to cut it. They're not taking down the samurai quick enough, and they obviously can't take down rams. We don't have ballistics. We've got fletching, which is, you know, we are a castle. Bodkin would be nice. Should say that the relics have popped out of the monastery, so mission accomplished there. Ian's Revenge absolutely dominating this game. I think we are thinking of either knights or elephants. I don't think you've even got the economy to produce elephants at this stage, so probably thinking knights. But yeah, I think start the game already is a little bit far behind. And this economy is absolutely flying. Absolutely flying. We're not deterring from the strategy. We're going to keep with rams. You know, this is something I might see from Ethiopians. You know, like Ethiopians pull this off quite often, and they're the preferred civ to actually do it. But this is working really well with Japanese. If I'm mistaken, they might have also chosen Ethiopians. So they might have had this strategy in mind with the Ethiopian pick. But wanted to maybe save the Ethiopian pick for another map. Maybe they'll do this exact same strategy on a different map. Just what I mentioned, these walls are gone. So there were rams trying to get into the castle and take down the castle. I love this addition of scorpions for the rattan archers. It's a good little counter. Gets a good shot off. And Monastery was healed and relics put back inside. We're desperately trying to get to another castle here. We'll start the game already as this is coming through. And yeah, I don't know. Just keep going for the monastery here. Double walling. This is the North and South Korea kind of demilitarized zone. But elephants are here now. Samurai going to try and take them out. Not enough elephants, unfortunately. However, the samurai are out to be taken out by the return archers. Scorpions are still here to deal damage to the return archers though. Relics are gone. Stables are being targeted. Intent to put a castle up kind of block this entryway. But again, the damage is done. We still have samurai who haven't been completely extinguished yet. Samurai pop out, they're going to attack a bunch of villages. So that villager count is going to continue to plummet. That is 13 dead units for these samurai. So even though they didn't get the town centre again, it's just... We're down to 43 villages again, and we're up to Imperial for Ian's Revenge. So this strategy is working to perfection. And we're sticking with return archers. I just don't know, like... I haven't been able to transition the economy away necessarily from wood and gold, so maybe it's just a question of this is what you can produce. Can't necessarily produce that many knights with the economy you have. And they are effective against samurai, of course, so I do understand that element. Okay. This is the mission. The mission of the monk. He's got to get past the castle as well. Samurai coming in. And that monk is going to go down quick. So I thought this might be like a behind enemy lines kind of situation. But it wasn't meant to be. Again, persistence with this strategy is a little bit crazy. I mean, I don't think you need to continue with the ram strategy. I'm sure he will change the strategy once Imperial hits. It's a good distraction, and it is working. Worked up till now, but I think as soon as he gets Trebs, pairing it with whatever he wants to produce out of these barracks. I mean, has he even upgraded to champion? He has not. He's going to go into skirmisher first. It's not a great option against Vietnamese, of course. Maybe he's thinking all these barracks for halberdier, for any kind of elephant play, but again, the economy is not there for elephants, although it's getting closer. It's still very far away from it. And yeah, got pikemen, I guess, but actually, do we even get halberdier? We do. Oh yeah, the Japanese halberdier, that's pretty good, right? So that makes sense, but we should be just thinking trebuchets, surely. I think it would be a mistake to continue on the battering ram path. But you know, these guys like to do things a little differently. They like to do the unexpected. We're going full trash. Full trash siege. Okay. Okay. It's not the choice I would have gone for. Definitely not the choice I would have gone for. But I'm not a Japanese player. We do finally have a trebuchet. Nice to see. But these... No. This is a very slow, you know, you've got up to Imperial so much faster and we're kind of dawdling a little bit. And allowing the Vietnamese players to get their numbers of return archers up. But here we go, we've got Halberdier coming in, got the upgrades, we're going to be fully upgraded. But this obviously needs to come forward. That Mangonel will help a lot. I would like to see them continue going to Mangonel or Scorpion, but you know, this will work. This will work. They're so far ahead that there's no way that it can't work. And yeah, only having Return Archer and no other kind of support unit. You know, the support unit is Knight, but Return Archer and Knight, that's going to be costly to produce. One Mangonel is going to drive them back. You know, skirmishes did well as well, obviously, but this will be tough. This will be tough to come back from. They did come back on Pacific Island, but I don't see that possibility coming in here. TC going to go down. It's not the Imperial Age TC, thankfully, it's this one back here. And the trash spam is real. You know, this could be arranged a little bit better, I would say. It is a lot of space that could be filled with economy in the long run, but I don't know if this game is going to go too much longer, because if Return Archer is your unit of choice, and now you don't know what castle, you don't have many stables, it's going to be tough to hold this back. We've got an old ram coming through. A new castle to take down, the next target. And there's no way to start the game we're going to be able to get their Return Archer numbers back up. Still going Knights. We know that there's Halberdier on the floor. But, you know, what else can you realistically go for? You know, Imperial Skirmisher would obviously be nice. That's where my mind goes. But we just haven't really picked into it previously. That's going to be hard to get to. Obviously got the Archer Armor and attack upgrades ready along with ballistics, but that's too late to make that transition. Outer Stone, Castle's gone. We're thinking about Elite Skirmisher now. Again, too late. It's too late, too late, too late. I'll get to some of these comments after this game concludes, which should be soon. Picking up every single tick in the book now. Look at the score difference. We've doubled up on score, and there goes the GG. So Ian's Revenge take a game back. So it's going to be a close series. Like it a lot. Just go back to the starting screen and pull up the next game, and then I'll address some of these comments. There we go, pulling up game 3 now. Pause there. All right. Grape Juice says, we love skirms and the Rams as well. There's the Samurai. Yeah. I've done that with Dravidians at work. I would like to do this with Vikings. Dravidians are super good double siege workshop in the base. Take water. Yeah, the whole Ram strategy is just it's wild. Just like to say, Lemon Toast is casting my own set in 2.5 hours in the Scrappy Lemons League. So look out for that. See Lemon Toaster in the game if you want to head over to his channel in 2.5 hours. Have a marathon watching session for Age of Empires. That's where you need to go. But I desperately need some water, so I'm going to be right back. I'll be right back. All right, we are back, and got a few new viewers that have picked up along the way. We are doing the Dual Domination tournament. It's 2 players per team playing the 1 Civ. We're in quarterfinals. This is bracket 3, so this is around 1100 to 1200 elo, is my experience. We've got 1 game apiece, so it's tied 1-1, best of 5. And we're going to get into this next game. Turn the music off there. And again, my casting names have been screwed up a bit. So Ian's Revenge. And we're 1 apiece. And we're off. So, Arabia. Good old Arabia, right? The classic. We've got these beautiful peach blossom trees now as well. But we have started the game on Magyars. I really like Magyars on Arabia. Again, I'm not a Magyar player, but I like their early aggression on Arabia, and I'm expecting start the game to play into that early aggression on scouts, of course. However, against Berbers, very good Knight Civ, very good Cavalry Civ on their own. And dare I say, they're pretty good mid and late game in my experience. Outlasting the resources I'll be able to play with cheaper cavalry as well. So Yeah, this was going to be a cavalry off. Cavalry v cavalry. Magyars with a slight early game advantage. Berbers maybe late game, but you know, Magyars obviously have cav archers, so that could be the late game play. Should be a pretty good matchup. Now, I was just gonna say, are chickens a thing in this tournament? And yes, chickens are a thing. We have 5, 6, 7, 8 chickens, 65 food on each chicken. Let me just see how much food that is. 65 times, did I say 8? That's 520 food on chickens. So it'll be interesting to see how these players use the chickens. These chickens are forward on Ian's Revenge, which is unfortunate because you can contest the chickens quite easily with a men-at-arms rush. I wouldn't say either of these civs are particularly well known for their men-at-arms rush, but could happen. And I think this is a mistake. I think you want to put your mill not on berries but on chickens. And I'm talking from complete inexperience, I would say, with chickens. But that's what I would expect. And this is what start the game to do. But yeah, if there's anyone in the comments who is particularly well versed in how to use chickens or what the strategy is, please let me know. But I think I would approach it the way start the game that's done it, and going for chickens before berries. Berries obviously being a slower collection food source. But we are really focused on food right now. Wanting to get a quick feudal age, I would assume. Gonna go for loom and then feudal, I would say. And get to scouts ASAP. And it's now going to go to wood as feudal is clicked, so that we have enough wood for the barracks plus stable. Walls coming down now. Ian's Revenge expecting a scout rush of some kind. It's like a little sliver of a base. But I think this is a pretty good prediction here. And that's the problem with Magyars. They're so predictable. One of the more predictable civs in the game. You have to, I mean, if you Magyars, you have to open scouts. You can transition to archers. The archers are good. And actually, they've got a pretty well-rounded tech tree, if I'm being honest. Archers are a pretty good follow-up option to something like Hells or something like that. So I don't mind them as a civ. They just have no eco bonus. So we're really going to have to take advantage of the scout timing and see what they can do with it. They're going to play it open, of course. We're thinking stone for Ian's Revenge. That's interesting. You know, I don't particularly think he's thinking of unique unit. He might just be thinking, I need to go defense, so castle would obviously help with that, especially with your gold forward. If you could put a castle here, protect the gold, would be nice. He's left this gold outside of his base, so I am concerned for Ian's Revenge. Scouts coming out thick and fast. This gold is exposed. The villager deleting the wall coming back in is going to be safe. Only producing a mining camp now. And is housed at the same time. So panic stations. Still no, well, actually the house was produced somewhere. Not exactly sure where. But yeah, I'm concerned. Especially because feudal is coming so late. And I just don't see a castle. I don't see a castle going up. You literally have to use 1, 2, 3, 4 of your villages to repair walls. It's going to be a lot of economy converted. But this is Barbarians at Gate, surrounded on all sides. Okay, does anybody remember a game produced called At the Gates? John Schaefer's At the Gates. John Schaefer being the guy who was the lead on Civilization 5, I believe. You know, got a lot of praise for that game. Used the whole game dedicated to Barbarians at the Gates. And if I'm being honest, it wasn't a bad game. I enjoyed it. Didn't have the staying power though. And he got a lot of flack for it. And who knows what he's doing now, but kind of a sad story, but this is what this is reminding me. John Schaefer's At the Gates. But Ian's Revenge is doing a good job at keeping this out, but he is limited in the wood that he has. And start the game is also doing a good job of switching where he's attacking. Horse here, horse here, horse here. And this is just causing so much idle time for villagers that it's gonna delay any kind of good castle age timing. So this is a strategy I haven't seen. Just waste your opponent's attention and resources. It's gonna delay castle age. Meanwhile, back in the Magyar base, we're just walling, we're chilling. We've even got an archer range ready for cave archers, perhaps. Oh, we're actually through. Good quick walls. Very good quick walls, actually. We have quick castle age as well, so we just have to get the castle up, basically. This wall is half down as well. And we're safe. We are safe. By the skin of our teeth, though. So props to Ian's Revenge for their quick walling prowess. That scout attacked through that wall briefly as well. A bug that the game. But yeah, more and more scouts on the field. Actually, no, not more and more scouts, but there is now a concentrated effort on the side. I would just house this up. Palisades are so weak. I would just house behind this and then you have to move somewhere else. That's what I'm thinking. But we nearly got enough for a castle. That won't be long. Have to place the castle here. And I think he's going to get it. He's got it. He's got the 650 food. Here come the villagers. Castle there. He's survived. So he's got through the toughest moment. Magyar's safe at home. But, you know, they're not in Carthage yet. And Ian's Revenge is going to have to break out of the base at some point. We'll be able to do that quite easily though with the Camel Archer. It's going to be a really good transition to compete with Scouts, of course. So that should be fine. Knights are the follow-up though. Might be tough to get enough Camel Archers to deal with that pressure. Still really good repairing going on. And I think he's going to break through here. No, this village is on it. He's on it. He's got this. No need to panic. The whole existence of the village relies upon this one villager. No, he's got friends. He's got friends. Camel Archer's coming out. Not entirely sure why. You could just attack this from behind. Skirmisher is ready. Not yet. See, now you're exposed. And again, you want to mass these Camel Archers. And look at this army. These army numbers out here are crazy. And they do get away with it, because they are going to be able to start messing. Please take out the wolves. No, we're going to think about attacking the economy. I'll start the game. I don't know about it because there's a lot of pressure back here. Oh, there was a gap. They're through on, so they're getting kills. And this hasn't been responded to. This is huge. That is a lot of dead villagers. That's 9 dead villagers. Forcing this army back. I would have just stayed here. Because you would have been eventually able to get through that gate. Oh, but this is more dead villagers. This is a disaster. That is a disaster. Really unfortunate. Just because of a hole. There's a hole in here somewhere. Don't know where. But if Ian's Revenge is able to continue producing Camel Archers, that could be tough to overcome for the Magyars because... Am I correct in... Yeah, look, here's the gap. Right through. Now, can you tell me that there's a gap there? I could not. There was a conversion somewhere. So there is a monastery. Look at this wall. That's fantastic. Ian Revenge has got a 10 village in the lead now, which is significant. Their base is not ideal, I would say. Siege Workshop ready for some kind of push. Not ready for that yet. But more villages going down too. we're just not even focusing on the knights, we're just focusing on villagers. These knights finally are off their siesta and will join battle. Skirmish mid, but that's fine. Yes, I was concerned about gold, and it would seem we're getting that back gold, which I think is very important. We have stabilized as start the game, and you know they have had 2 TCs working to the 1, so the villager count isn't as bad as we were looking at just before. But I love the unit composition for Ian's Revenge. Even got a knight converted that's going to deal with those skirms very easily. And we're thinking of relics. No, we've just got the monks for the knights. I think that's pretty fair. But we're through. We are through, and now there's going to be, dare I say it, revenge. But not Ian's revenge. It's going to be start the game's revenge. Good conversion, really nice. Obviously, like the draw, but really needed that conversion. Especially on the knight that had the most hit points. So I don't know if that was targeted or what, but that was nice. Expecting a mangonel at some point for taking up TCs. And start the game is actually pulled away with the villager lead with these TCs. So it's still very much anyone's game. But I love this combo. Camel Archer Monk. Really good combo. I don't think of monks much for Berbers. And this is going to be a problem. And that fight could not have gone worse. For start the game. That was not ideal. That was not ideal at all. We're going full skirmisher now. As Magyars. That's not the position you want to be in as Magyars. But it will do the trick, at least in the short term. I would not chase that though if I were Ian's Revenge. Knights will push them away. We're not going to find that easy entry point. It has been cleared up. I can't remember if he's got redemption or not, but you could take over a building, destroy it, and get through. That could be nice. But realistically, we need either Imperial Age or we need mangonels. Going for towers on the back. Skirmishers coming back for defense. Got a stable ready, so we might be thinking of hitting into our own knights, which I think is a good idea. As we progress further and further to the game, especially with these skirms. Yeah, and I would just not be engaging with the camel archers. It's just not worth it. But Imperial is ready. They just need to click it, but they are going to have to deal with... Well, they don't even really need to deal with this army, to be honest. You've got the castle, you're protected, you've got your gold at the back. There's no real immediate need to deal with this just now. However, we're not going to go for Imperial. We're going to go for upgrades and units, I would suppose. Yeah, got 5 knights coming through. There are cheaper knights, of course, with the Berbers. I think it could probably have rushed Imperial though. Wouldn't mind seeing more expansion up to the side. In addition, Imperial is going to come out anyway, so well played. And I don't know what this army is necessarily trying to achieve. There's no siege support, there's stone walls here. I don't see it. And you know, the counter attack is coming in, and your army is way out of position, especially skirmishers. Like, your skirmisher is your defensive unit, and they couldn't be further away from the unit that they're trying to counter. So that's pretty rough. We're only going to get more and more knights as well, and more dead villagers. 24 eco kills at this point. Trying to micro that wall down. No good. More dead villagers. We're going to see an even villager gain. This is not going to pose an issue, in my opinion. Economy at the back is completely compromised. I think this is the winning play of the game. You know, we have... I mean, these knights can just pop out and... Yeah, exactly. These knights can just pop out and absolutely wreck these skirms. There are still knights in support, of course, but... we're only going to introduce more and more knights. And this army is just trapped back here. I just don't know what this army is trying to achieve. It's stonewalled. You're not going to be getting anywhere out there. But we have enough skirmishers to push this back. And I mean, the economy setup is good. You've lost a lot of villages, yes, but as long as you repopulate these farms and get back, I think the base is looking good. It's just the unit composition is not ideal against Camel Archer Knights. Wow. And this is going to be a lot of dead army. It's just skirmisher, and you know, Magyars just don't want to get the skirmisher. It's just not the ideal unit composition. That's a lot of dead skirmishers. And now we're in Cavalier. Okay. Stonewalling down the back, I do like that. It's going to be stopped though, if this is noticed. It's not, so the stone walls are going to go up. And we're going to just flood with knights that we're seeing. And I don't know what can stop this. There's no town centre fire support either. Stonewall is going to be prevented, actually. And these knights have free reign. Absolutely free reign over the base. So this is only going to intensify. And sitting under TC, you know, we've got the triple armor upgrade as well, so Archer Fire is not going to do that much. It's going to obviously do a little bit, but not enough. And you know, just didn't have the units to compete with Cavalier at that point. He's gone full skirmisher, So Ian's Revenge 2-1. They're on the cusp of winning the set. Remember, it's quarterfinals, so whoever loses goes home. So both really wanting to get to the semis. But Lemon Toaster. Results thus far show 4 unchosen maps. 2 maps tied. Oh, this is for Scrappy Lemons League, of course. So again, that's the map. That's the tournament I'm playing in. But Cross and African Clearing being the most popular maps. I love both of those maps, so I'm not surprised. But yes, let's take stock of where we are right now. So we've done Pacific Islands, done Copenhagen, we've done Arabia. We've got Jungle Rumble and Morass. So Morass for start the game already will be their choice, I would assume. And I'm thinking Huns would be the choice there. Malians perhaps on the side of Ian's Revenge. Let's see if my predictions are correct. Here we go. I better check if it's the right game. Just 1 second. Just pulling up the next game. All right, back to live scene. And we're off. Okay. Malay, actually. Oh, typical. Typical. This happens every time. Just got to change the casting settings. My apologies. It is Ian's Revenge. And now I'm going to even forget. Ian's Revenge 1. It's Ian's Revenge 2. I think the colours have been changing around as well, so it's really confusing. But Ian's Revenge is 2-1 up. And I should put that correct. They 1-1-1, right? That's what happened. Anyway, please in chat if I've got that wrong. Please let me know. But it's 2-1 to Ian's Revenge as far as I know. But yes, here we are on game 4 of this best of 5. Between Start the Game already and Ian's Revenge. We are 2-1 up to Ian's Revenge, and they're on the cusp of moving on to the semis. And they've picked Ethiopians. Which, again, I'm forgetting. Were they the Japanese in that game? My mind wanders. I gotta find this out. We gotta go back to the starting screen, guys. I was supposed to take stock of what actually happened. So Pacific Islands, we had the Byzantine players winning. So let's start the game already. Then we had Copenhagen, and there we had the Berbers. No, not the Berbers. We had the Japanese winning, and then we had Arabia with the Berbers winning. So it is 2-1 to Ian's Revenge. And Ian's Revenge did do the Ram strategy, and we've got Ian's Revenge on the Ethiopians. That's what I wanted to figure out. So now we can start. So we might see some more Ram play. Maybe, maybe not. It's not particularly a map that I would say lends itself to that game style. There not being any walls, of course, early on. So we might be just thinking, you know, standard Ethiopian archer rush. And this should be like this. Maybe just a standard Ethiopian archer rush is what I'm thinking. Malay, you know, they're really good on shoals. You know, I always see them on shoals where they have a bit of distance between themselves and the enemy, because then they can get up faster to the next stage quicker, and kind of do that at distance, not get rushed necessarily. So I think they stand a good chance on this map, but I don't know. I haven't played this map personally. We do have shorefish. So whoever puts mills down on shorefish is going to be important. And there's wood in the middle, of course, but it looks like there's plenty of wood around. You don't have to go into the middle for wood necessarily. But I would have thought this would play into Cav, this map, quite well. I should say as well that there's a lot of little gold piles around. So you will be able to find gold, but it's going to be hard to stick around on these little gold piles for long. You only have 2,400 there. But Start the Game has already gone to fish. That's a positive sign. We're getting onto fish here for Ian's Revenge. Also a positive sign. And we're thinking more walls. So maybe a little bit of the same style as the last map for Ian's Revenge. You don't have to contend with the Magyar Scouts, so a little less necessary, but always good to be a little bit safe, of course. Start the Game seems to not mind playing a bit open. But yeah, I think Ian's Revenge is a bit scared now. It should be noted that Ian's Revenge did pick a lot of closed maps, so they do prefer the closed map style, and therefore are creating their own arena as it is. Whereas Start the Game already, this is their map, and they're quite comfortable playing open. And that's more the way I like to play. I like to play open and produce a few spearmen if I think the enemy is going to go into cav or scouts. But, you know, this does lend itself, dare I say it, to you know, a fast castle into siege and show tell warriors. You know, if I did have the betting function on my channel, I do not have enough subscribers. So, you know, maybe that's the perfect segue. If you do feel like you want to subscribe, I would be very appreciative. But of course, no pressure whatsoever. But if I did have enough subscribers, I would have the betting function, and I could say, I'm expecting castle, into show towers, into rams. But we have men-at-arms here. I should have expected that actually. I've seen that barracks. And that's going to take Ian's Revenge off fish. But I think this is going to allow Ian's Revenge to go into his archery range, yes. And that's going to be the perfect counter to men-at-arms. I think, regardless, this has been positive. Because it's taken Ian's Revenge off fish for this period of time, which is pretty significant. And he's going to see the next production building. He's going to go into skirms at his archery range himself. And wow, we're actually producing a lot of men-at-arms. Stop producing men-at-arms because archers are going to come out and you're not going to be able to maintain this pressure. Of course, if you support it with skirms, I said support with skirms, but it's going to support with archers. Fair enough. I think if you support that with skirms, then you might be able to get a breakthrough. But double archery range for Ian's Revenge. I'm liking their position. Melee archers, of course, quite good as well, but they don't have any particular civ bonus for archers, whereas Ethiopians fire faster. So if you get an archer versus archer war, Ethiopians are going to win every single time. Spearman's out here for some reason. And oh, we're actually in. Town center is there, and he's going to get attacked by some of these arrows, but somebody unlocked the gate, and this is going to be very annoying to deal with if he can find where the economy is, which he currently has no idea. Doesn't know where the wood camp is. He's got 2 villagers trapped, which is something in of itself. And now we're on the gate. This PC can't fire on those particular attackers. This village is going to go down. Stone Cape comes through. That is destroyed. Just has to run through. I mean, if he runs through to the side, after you've taken that gate, why wouldn't you just run through? You know the economy has to be back here. It's very tentative right now. This is your chance to shine. If you get back here with these skirms, you got 4 skirms in here. That's game over, but it's a bit late now because you now have that house there. Imagine if you could kill or take these 7 villages off wood. Game over. Game is completely over. But again, whenever you're not looking at somebody's base, they're probably killing that back there. Economy's looking great. All these mills, all these fish. You don't need farms. I've never seen 10 men-at-arms at once. That is a lot. Supposedly there's 11 men-at-arms on the map somewhere. But not necessarily getting the best value out of them because it doesn't want to. He could have swooped. Even if he went through this way again and swooped around, that would have been great. Going for arson. So look how quickly this mill goes down. This scout could be put to much better use to understand what is happening on this side. But the archers are going out. And they could find damage. It's going to be a big arc though. You know, you can get onto this gold, perhaps. But yeah, archery range is going to go down pretty quick as well. So you would lose one of your production buildings. Here are the archers though, so after all this pressure, it's actually these archers that are gonna do the most damage. Skirmishers coming back. Men-at-arms staying. I think the skirmishers need to continue supporting this. Gate was left open again, so lesson not learned. There's some kind of traitor in this village who wants to stay and be a traitor. Archer's not dealt with. I think that's the right play. You could even just put a tower somewhere around here and kind of prevent that from happening. But a lot of idle villagers through that house. Finally, he's going to get to that wood line. This is what we've been waiting for. And this is going to be tough to come back from. This is all in feudal age. We did see a lot of idle villages from Ian's Revenge in a previous game, and that really hurt in. We're actually into longswords now. If you get the arming upgrade, you know, maybe 11 longswords can actually take out a town centre perhaps. Archers still doing their thing. This has been managed fairly effectively. This house will go down pretty quick. They're through. One villager sacrificed. Skirmishers coming back for these archers, but they're just being tracked. It's causing a lot of idle time and a lot of annoyance, for sure, but just not going to find any damage on that. Lumber camp destroyed. There's no archers here to speak of to deal with these long swords. You know, hasn't got that many kills off it, but a lot of disruption. It's going to find more village kills. That's really positive. But now the archers are going to be driven away. Oh, these villagers are sitting ducks. And actually we're seeing the village discrepancy start to creep up quite high now. These swordsmen have 9 villager kills. Archers being tracked back to the base. And I just don't know where, you know, these villagers are also just running about like crazy. And there's nobody on gold. That's going to be a problem for Ethiopians who want to produce archers, although they're back now. A half-constructed lumber camp is down. Skirmishers will just run through the base, I would assume. Again, you've got to do a behind enemy lines kind of situation. You've got to save your longswords. Come in here with your skirms. Otherwise they're all dead. Town centre next to your enemy. Love it. I think this is going to go to a game 5. These longswords just so annoying. get the stone, if he can get the stone, which is about 700 stone, if he can mine all of that, put a castle down, it's game over, 100%. But elite skirmers in. We've got no siege. You know, maybe a scorpion or two would do well here. Siege workshop is going up actually. I do love that we've kept the pressure on and kind of just maintain the 1 TC in addition to this funny TC around the back. And we are thinking stone, so I reckon castle here, or castle here maybe, and break through, probably game over. Siege workshop as well, I love that. Wasting quite a few units here though. You know, longsword, the base be all dead at this point. And now Mangonel's going to come out. If this isn't noticed, it's going to be a huge shot. Oh, it's falling apart here for start the game already. Left with 1 skirmisher. So a bit of a flip there. We've got enough for a castle. Where's that castle going to go? We're moving. I think you've got to be careful now with that mangonel. Because that mangonel can get some really good hits on these villages. Yeah. You don't want to throw this. Deletion of a archery range. This could be a throw. This is a really ballsy play by villagers. You've got to take down the mangonel under archer fire. A lot of villagers sacrifice, only down to 10 villager lead now. But the castle does go up. Could that have been executed better? I believe so. That didn't need to be that aggressive. It could have been just here, for instance, and that would have easily gone up with no villager kills. But this castle was on the town centre. And there's going to be very little opportunity to escape. This is going to be rough. It's going to be rough for Ian's revenge to come back. We're thinking of another TC here next to... Okay, you couldn't be closer under the eye of the enemy. That's going to be quite entertaining to see. This is going to be tracked. Ooh, box turtles. I didn't realize there were so many box turtles back. That's actually quite a lot of food. 2, 4, 6, 8, 800 food in that little part. You should never produce farms on this map, I believe. You just don't need to. Mangonels are in. Taking out archers. Here we go. Not happy being surveilled upon by the enemy, and villagers take that out. Longsword coming through for the mangonel, and that's going to be taken out. And there is nothing going to stop this. Again, this was tracked all the way back here. Castle being built, but that's a desperation castle. Villagers going down every which way, and there's the GG. So, start the game already has even the series. That means we're going to go to game 5. So really close matchup. Really, really close matchup. This is really cool. So, as Craig Juice and Lemon Toast, there are eagerly talking the map selections, the map pool of Scrappy Lemons League. Huge map pool in that tournament. But yes, we're going to a game 5 in this best of 5. So this is the last map, and it's going to be Jungle Rumble. I haven't seen Jungle Rumble, so this is very exciting. As I will just pull this map up. I've not seen this map. I have no idea how it plays out. As we switch over screens. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Very much appreciated. This has been a really fun tournament to cover and a really fun set to cover. But yeah, let's get into it. Oh, typical. I gotta change this over. Every time, every time. So, this was like this, and here we go. All right, so last game of this best of 5, we're tied at 2-2 between Ian's Revenge and start the game already. We are on Jungle Rumble, which has a 2 TC start. One is in this inner cloister of trees. It's an arena style, plenty of gold in the middle. And then we've got this outer start. Really interesting map for Dual Domination because you can say one player plays the arena, one player plays the outside. I think that's probably how you would organize that. So really interesting final map here. Whoever wins this goes on to the semi-final for bracket 3. It's about 1100, 1200 elo. So may the best team win. But in terms of civs, we have Britons on Ian's Revenge. Very interesting. I want to come back to that. Turks, perhaps a more standard closed map kind of civ. Maybe we're thinking castles into Janiciaries. Would be my interpretation. And you know, Turks obviously have good light cav. Maybe play the light cav on the outside. Would be my thoughts. But yeah, this map, it poses an interesting conundrum. If you have one player playing the inside and one player playing on the outside, you do still share the same resources. So you still have to communicate who's using what are you going to focus on? Are you going to focus on gold? Are you going to focus on wood? Are you going to focus on food? Because you do have to have your other player in mind. As my voice starts to go on this final 5th game. But Britons, yeah, I want to talk about Britons because I don't really consider them a good arena civ, and you know that might be me just being a bit of a noob, but I don't necessarily see them as being a priority for most on arena. You've got your longbowmen. You do have halberdier. longbow seems to be a pretty good option, and then go into your trebuchets. Or just, you know, crossbow, arbalest, and halberdier. It's usually pretty good. This is interesting, walling off this little side bit. Might do the same on this side as well for Ian's Revenge. But yeah, Britons. They're not my first choice. You know, I think Burgundians, I think Turks, I think a bunch of gunpowder civs, right? You know, especially if you've got bombard cannon. It's huge on maps like these. And as I look at this, Britons don't actually have bombard cannons, but they've got really good tricks once you get the tech. So, but yeah, gonna wall this off. You don't want any sneak villages around the sides, producing barracks and stables and such. So I can understand that. It's a pretty good topic, pretty good strategy. And we might be thinking about chopping through the wood barrier, because eventually this will become one map if you have enough time to chop through. Perhaps an underrated strategy would be to go for an onager sieve and cut through. Like siege onager. Siege onager is the one that can kind of cut through, isn't it? So maybe Celts, chop through there and start raiding from the arena side. Could be pretty cool. But yeah, we're chilling. We're chilling. I'm not expecting too much early aggression on the map. I'm expecting this to go late. We're going to do the border houses. Sure, fair enough. But yeah, what are we on? 8 on gold for Britons. Nothing spectacular here in terms of eco makeup. We're not on, you know, not going fast castle, heavy on stone. But actually, if I look at the map, where is the stone? Oh, that's gonna really, like, if starting the game already hasn't necessarily looked at this map beforehand, and is thinking, hey, it's a closed map, let's go Turks, and we'll get on stone and we'll get Janissaries. I can't even say that, I don't know why. But there's no stone. Where's the stone? There's stone down here. It's to the sides. But this does not play well into a Turk strategy. You need your castle. He's going up to Castle H. But how are you going to get your castle for the old Turk strat? I do not like this for them. I want to see what they know, what they've scouted. They do know there is stone to the side there. They don't know about this stone. It's over here somewhere. There it is. Was thinking about potentially going around the back, I think. I don't like this for them. This is Ian Revenge's map, I think. I would say. Again, if I had betting points on the channel, I would be putting my bets on Ian's Revenge right now. These villagers don't know what to do, I don't think. But here they go. They know that they need stone, but it's late. I think it's late. Because you need it. Like, you try and win the you wall this up. Then you go immediately into middle castle. You can't take advantage of the sides. I think that's what you probably try to do. Monastery barracks, so there is 2 relics in the middle here. Defensive castle from the Britain's players, which I love because then you can get your longbow behind. You know, produce your longbow in safety, mess up that unit. The scout is trapped by the 2 walls, the demilitarized zone. And this is going to be rough. Should have said that Ian's Revenge was on stone already, or maybe even purchased that stone to get this castle up. I've gone for mangonel. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe defensive mangonel for any Janissary that might come. But we have 0 castles, 0 Janissaries. But we are thinking of castle. Oh, here we go. Ramps. Ramps again, I've forgotten. Who went for the ram play? We're going to quickly switch over. Yes, it was Ian's Revenge went for ramps. Gotta remember. We're going for the ram play again. I would not be hanging your ass out here with your longbows. Oh, you got to pounce on that if you start the game. No, there's no way anybody's getting through this gap whatsoever. So left a relic behind. It's nearly through this wood line, which is pretty cool. You can bring your villagers in and get access to all this gold. You know, this has nearly been chopped through as well. Longbowmen obviously famous for being quite inaccurate. It does have ballistics. Defensive castle coming in. I'll start the game already. So that's going to put an end to this push. He can relocate the push elsewhere. Does see the castle going up, so we'll back away. These have trying their best to snipe siege, but is unable to. This has been cleared, so it's free passage now through. And rams are coming thick and fast, but we are going up to Imperial to start the game already. Targeting the monastery, which is significant because we've got 2 relics in there. Scout goes down. Ram is through. Monastery will be coming down. Janissaries are back. Up and running. Yeomen. So the range on these longbows are going to be crazy. But yeah, what are you going to be able to do? Even though start the game already is coming up to Imperial, has gone for Cav Archer. I think it's going to be pretty hard to stop. It's quite smart trying to take up a siege workshop as well, because that is going to be the thing that potentially stops your longbowmen. And of course we're thinking Turk bombard cannons as well. And it's actually forced to produce another siege workshop. Should start bringing more longbowmen across. It's attacking farms, unfortunately. Mangonel taken out, but these Cav Archers going down quick. And even though this has been stopped, you know, the damage, again, you know, the aggression from Ian's Revenge has been really impressive. The damage is already done with the amount of villagers killed, the amount of army that was being invested into these Cav Archers gone down completely. We've got more and more longbowmen coming in, and nothing can happen on the other side of the map because of that falling. But bombard cannon is in. That's going to be a problem. So I still give start the game a chance. If he can land really good bombard cannon hits, oof, that could have been way worse. Let's see what his archer micro is like. Yeah, supporting this with rams again. He might be trying to dive these bombards. This is risky. It is going to work in the fact that he's deleted the castle, which is interesting. He really pulled back there. He did not believe he could. I think he should have kept going for it. But I think his Cav Archers haven't really done the business. You know, trickling them in, it's definitely gone down quick. But we are looking at a sizable amount of bombard cannons. And they can obviously get good hits, and this is dangerous. Oh, no, I hate this. Gets two, but don't know if that was worth it. We've only got one castle producing these longbows. And now start the game is actually taking the lead in terms of villages. Got 4 to 5 forts, okay. I think he's given quite a lot back here. And a castle is going to go up. I do like at the start of the game it decided to go for Cavat instead of Janissary, who I think would not fare well against longbows. I don't necessarily know the matchup that well, but this is not a fight you want to be taking as the intervention. Actually, I'm a bit concerned for intervention now. Again, I thought they had this in the bag. And they've just given quite a lot up. Going heavy into barracks right now. Yeah, and if some of these cannon shots hit, as they just did, then they're going to be in trouble. And they're attacking castles. And if this castle goes down, then you've got nothing producing longbows. So he's gonna try and dive. And I think the time's turned. What looked like to be an easy victory for Ian's Revenge, I think is turning on its head because of these bombards. He's microing these things like a bit of a beast right now. And I think he's got this. The castles went up late. The Rams were in their base. But now that we've got 4 bombards, I don't know if there's a way he can lose. Castle being repaired. But a lot of units just being tossed to the wind here. And these bombards will come forward again to try and take this castle, but we're trying to go for the spam of the halberdier. But I don't know. There's still going to be a lot of wasted resources doing that. Like, eventually you will run out of resources doing that. And all he really needs to do is land a really good shot. Again, he's only got 1 castle producing these longbows, so just need to cut. I mean, you've got 1 player who will just be only microing these longbows, right? His attention doesn't need to be anywhere else. It's like, that's the focus. But we're just going to try and castle him out. Just creep forward with castles. Oh, and that was big hits. That's going to be hard to come back from. Doesn't care about the dead villages here. You've got 150 villages, so 150 villages as long as you've got 4 bombard cannons, it doesn't matter. But these longbows are... one person's microing these archers alone, one person's microing these bombard cannons alone to kind of go back and forth, amongst these longbow shots. So a lot of try-harding here, but you've got to try hard when it's game 5 of quarterfinals. So 100% respect this gamesmanship here. Treb's gonna, slowly whittle down those castles. Cav archer numbers are pretty great right now. Some weak Cav archers in there for sure, but there just have to be so many dead halberdiers. And, the food supply is low. Oh, he's caught in a halberdier kind of grind there, though. That's actually quite a lot of dead Cav archers. Just doesn't need to micro them away. We're thinking bombard towers. I love this. Those archers are not going to be able to even approach this area after these bombard cannon towers are out. There is opposing trebuchets. That is going to be a problem. But this castle finally goes down. No more archer production available. That's tough. And now that treb can be taken down, these trebs cannot be renewed. Dare I say that outside of these maps have not been relevant at all. They're just a boom fetch factor. Would like to see the outside maps be a little more relevant in a map like this, but all the action has been in the middle here. And all action has gone towards start the game already. Bombard towers, I thought was a really good addition there. And they can come through and potentially snipe the end of these longbowmen, but just getting in the gates at this point would be quite good. But no, sniping bombard cannons is what they're doing. I should say actually that I didn't realise that there were these 2 safe longbow castles in the back here. So we still have production. So this is going to be a real grind fest. These Revenge is going to start the game work for this hard. But bombard towers are pretty important when you're at your population limit, because buildings obviously don't cost any population space. A lot of Cav archers going down here, unfortunately. Again, the micro has been pretty superb. Not many of these bombard shots have hit. I'm pretty sure he just hit his own unit. A couple of hits there though, actually. That was nice. This is a very micro-intensive game, and of course we've got the economy on the outside. We're going into elite skirmisher. Okay. Love these bombard towers. He's through the walls, but what can he actually achieve here? I'm not sure. Bombard tower there as well. Might break through on that side. And this gap is a bit dangerous, of course. So here come the skirmishes. So skirmishes against the Cav Archer. So that's not going to be ideal. Bombard cannon is obviously great against skirmishes though. So they're all gone. Again, the trash unit didn't seem to be great. Thinking about diving those longbows, but didn't quite work out. And we're going Cavalier. I love this because if he continues to go into skirmisher, and you know, food is a concern to actually sustain it. But look at the amount of bombo. Holy cow. Good shots there actually, really good shots. Bombard towers creeping forward some more. More good shots. Trev's not coming into the action because it's just a little bit dangerous and a little bit too costly, I think, to sacrifice that. There's something attacking down here. Crocodile. Okay. Thought for a second blue had got into the back of the base, but no. But here come the Cavalier. Cavalier are in. And I think they're just going to try and run through to get villages. And that's really going to distract the halberdiers. Bombard cannons still coming forward, getting some more shots. Trev's coming through, killing production buildings. That's actually quite big. Cavalier cleaned up. But yeah, these halberdiers are just evaporating, but Cav Archer's getting in real close proximity to those Cavalier now, to those Cav Archers. And you know, you just need to alternate a bit of these shots so that the archers have nowhere to go. Because now the Cav Archer numbers are completely gone. Cav Archers down the side. Actually, I didn't see this raid. So this is why the villager numbers have dropped off substantially. And here's the GG. Cannonballs hitting. Cavalier was a really good thing to tick into there just to break the stalemate, I think. You know, just get them over the lip. They're creeping over just slightly, but start the game. Start the game already. They won the first game, they won the Pacific Islands, they came back on Pacific Islands. It looked like they were dead multiple times on that map. And they lost twice in a row to Ian's Revenge. So it could have been a 3-0 sweep, if I'm being honest. Come back on Pacific Islands. Morass went for that crazy men-at-arms rush with skirmisher and archer support. Crazy. And also this map played really well. So yeah, well played to start the game already. But I really like Ian's Revenge. I love the Ram plays. They love the Rams. I think they played at most games, didn't they? Oh no, sorry, they didn't win on this color change. I need to sort out my color change in the future. Make sure the colors are consistent. Because I'm getting it confused. Um, but yeah, Ian's Revenge wins on Pacific Islands. No, no, start the game wins on Pacific Islands because they were the Byzantine. Um, then it's Copenhagen, and they go for the Japanese rush. Japanese ram rush, and that works out, and they really put them on the back foot for that. So that was awesome. Then it was Arabia. Arabia with Magyars, Berbers, and Ian's Revenge on Berbers on Arabia was really impressive. I thought that was a really good game by them with the Camel Archer and then Cavalier Switch. That was really cool. Morass was Malay. Malay did that cool rush with the Men at Arms. And then they won on Jungle Rumble. And Jungle Rumble was Ian's Revenge home map. So they came back on the home map as well. So, you know, picking up the Game 5 win on the opposing team's map. Love that. Really love that. But yeah, I said that I wanted to finish at 12 midnight. It's 12:20. I think I did pretty well for a best of 5. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm definitely going to come back down and cast bracket 4, which is that 900 elo average. This is quarterfinals for bracket 3. That's about 1200 elo. I'll be trying to cover a little bit of both is my plan going forward. But yeah, also want to shout out Grape Juice and Lemon Toaster. Again, thanks so much for coming by and keeping the chat alive. But I do know I have some of the people here from Ian's Revenge and Start the Game already. Again, well played to you guys. Congrats for those progressing, but also congrats to those who participated and didn't quite make it onto the semi-finals. Produced some really entertaining games, so well done to you guys. And yes, I should say, Lemon Toaster, either he's started or he's about to start at some point, maybe within the next hour, would be my prediction. The Scrappy Lemons League. He's going to cast my set apparently. I'll be asleep, but I'll be definitely watching the VOD when I wake up. So that'll be 30 minutes time. So this is perfect timing. This is great, actually, Lemon Toaster, because, you know, if I do a cast and it leads into your cast, it's like perfect scheduling in a way, isn't it? So yeah, keep an eye out for Lemon Toaster coming online. But yeah, I might leave it there. I need to go to bed. I've got work to do. I've got to meet a government department tomorrow, so that should be fun. That should be fun, and I don't want to be too tired. So cool. I'll see you guys later. Congrats to start the game already. See you guys in the semi-finals, and I'll see you guys next time. Next time I cast, which should be this weekend, I would say. All right. Catch you later. Bye.